You've probably seen Twilight so many times that you can quote it by heart.
Say it out loud.
But even iconic sagas have their oops moments. We've dug up hidden details and awkward little slip-ups that even die-hard fans missed. Let's see how sharp your vampire senses really are. We all know Edward's a vampire, and not the burn in the sun type, but the sparkle like a disco ball type.
This is the skin of the killer, Bella.
However, in the first movie, when he and Bella walk into school together, there's zero shimmer. He's wearing sunglasses in this scene, but apparently it's not sunny enough for his sparkles to show up. And don't even get us started on Eclipse. That open field, full sun, zero sparkle. The Cullens moved to Forks because it's cloudy all the time. But come on, clouds don't block all sunlight. So, did Edward just forget to turn on his glitter that day? Every Cullen rocks a piece of jewelry with their family crest. Edward, Emmett, and Jasper sport leather bracelets. Esme has a silver one. Rosalie and Alice wear necklaces. And Carlisle, fancy with a crest ring. Even Bella joins the club in the final film with a matching bracelet, like her husband. These stylish little symbols aren't from the books. It was a way to show that the Cullens are more than a vampire coven. They're a family. The crest itself, packed with meaning. The lion represents strength and ferocity. The trefoil at the bottom represents infinity. And the hand is faith and sincerity, showing that the Cullens are honest with each other. It's a weird little moment from the cafeteria scene where the Cullens make their grand, slow-motion entrance, and Emmett casually strolls in with a plastic bag full of boiled eggs. Later, Bella's busy staring at the Cullens, and Edward's wondering why he can't read her mind, but our Mr. Muscle just chillin' with his eggs. No explanation, no eating, nothing. Fans were confused for years until the internet did its thing, and boom, Emmett became Eggmet. Kellen Lutz even joined the fun, posting a pic with the infamous egg bag. But when asked about it, he stayed mysterious, taking that one to the grave. Thankfully, director Catherine Hardwicke spilled the tea. I saw Kellen one day carrying a bag of, like, 12 hard-boiled eggs. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? You're not going to eat like a dozen eggs, are you? Turns out, it was just his protein-packed vampire diet. I'm like, okay, you have to carry that in that scene, because it was just outrageous. So that was really it. Just a super quirky detail that the real Kellen was doing. A little weird? Totally. But it worked. Vampires don't eat human food, so random props helped them blend in. Hardwicke also added that she loves sneaking in quirky details like this in her films. Right at the beginning of Twilight, when Charlie drives Bella through Forks for the first time, a big old log truck passes them with no one driving it. Yep, no hands on the wheel, no one in the seat. Was it a vampire? A ghost? Just Washington State things? Either way, it's giving Final Destination vibes, and we are not okay. At the prom in the final scene of the first Twilight movie, guess who's lurking in the background? Yep, Victoria. Red hair, fur shrug, full-on villain vibes. She's actually right there in the crowd. But unless you've got eagle eyes, you probably missed her. Now here's the weird part. The Cullens didn't notice either. You know, the super senses, smell your scent from a mile away, predator family? But hey, someone had to hint at a sequel, right? And nothing says to be continued like a prom crasher in white fur. In the movies, we see Robert Pattinson playing piano a few times. But is he faking it, or does he actually know how to play? Well, plot twist, he actually can. In real life, Pattinson's a talented musician. He's been playing piano and guitar since he was 4, and even writes his own music. You might have recognized his voice on the Twilight soundtrack with songs like Never Think and Let Me Sign. Director Catherine Hardwicke included his tracks in an early film cut without telling him. But once he heard it, he agreed it made the scenes even better. Despite his musical chops, Pattinson's still humble, saying, "I've never really recorded anything. I just played in pubs and stuff." Well, let's be honest. If acting ever fails, we might just need him for the soundtrack to our lives. In the franchise, vampires heal almost instantly. No scar, bruise, or injury lasts for long. Take Bella's transformation into a vampire, for example. After her intense labor, every broken bone and wound disappears in the blink of an eye. But here's the catch. James has a tattoo. Well, vampires should heal any marks, so why does his body art stay put? The thing is, the actor who played him, Cam Gigande, actually had a real tattoo. And for some reason, the filmmakers decided not to hide it. Maybe they thought it added to James's bad boy vibe? Who knows? Remember that scene in Twilight where Bella slips on the ice? It was right before Tyler's van almost turned her into a pancake. Well, look closely, and you'll spot Kristen Stewart wearing knee pads under her jeans. But here's the funny part. She falls on her butt, not her knees. So were those pads just for emotional support? Either way, safety first, especially when you're the human love interest of a sparkly vampire. We've already talked about how the Cullens aren't typical bloodsuckers. They don't sleep in coffins, they don't burn in the sun, and they actually show up in mirrors. But here's the thing. In New Moon, when Bella's asleep, Edward doesn't appear in the mirror. Did the creators forget the vampire rule there? Or maybe vampires just don't reflect in dreams. The mystery remains unsolved. The biology class gave us one of the first normal conversations between Edward and Bella. But here's something most people forget. At the beginning of the lesson, their teacher promised a golden onion as a prize for the best team tackling the mitosis task. After the scene, when Edward and Bella walked down the hallway, the girl casually holding that very golden onion. So, they did win, but the filmmakers didn't make a big deal out of it. And the eagle-eyed fans caught a glimpse of this trophy later on, sitting on Bella's car during the accident. Did you know each movie in the franchise subtly nods to the book cover of its source material? The cover of the Twilight novel shows two hands holding a red apple, which, if you look closely, are supposed to be Edward's hands, thanks to their marble-like texture. According to Stephanie Meyer, the apple represents the forbidden fruit from the Book of Genesis, symbolizing the illicit love between Edward and Bella. In the movie, the reference is pretty clear. During the cafeteria scene, when Edward approaches Bella, she drops an apple and he catches it. The camera zooms in on his hands holding it, just like the cover of the book. This was a spontaneous idea from director Catherine Hardwicke. But it turned out that filming this scene wasn't as easy as it seemed.
After we did it like a million times trying to get it right, I was about to give up, but finally take 13 actually worked. Okay, and cut. Perfect. Great.
New Moon marks the temporary end of Edward and Bella's relationship, a breakup that caused a lot of trouble for both of them. Before that, the Cullens celebrate Bella's birthday at their home. The party ends with an attack by Jasper and a wound on Bella's hand. Later, Carlisle tends to the injury, and to prevent further incidents, he sets the bloody gauze on fire. This moment is a subtle reference to the New Moon book cover, which features a ruffled red and white tulip. The shape of the bloody gauze resembles the flower, symbolizing the fragile and fleeting nature of Bella and Edward's relationship at that point. This event forces Edward to break up with Bella, realizing he is putting her in danger. But, as we know from the movie, they're back together by the end. Eclipse introduces an army of newborn vampires, led by Victoria and Riley, seeking revenge on the Cullens. The cover of the book features a torn red ribbon, symbolizing choice, specifically Bella's decision between Edward and Jacob, as this is the story where she makes her final choice. And the reference to the cover in the movie is subtle and easy to miss. In a pivotal scene where Riley and Victoria are about to kill Edward, Bella cuts her arm to distract them. Blood runs down her arm in a shape that echoes the torn ribbon on the Eclipse cover. While not as obvious as some of the other references, this moment reinforces Bella's choice to stay with Edward and protect him. The cover of the final Twilight novel features a chessboard with a white queen in the foreground and a red pawn in the background, partially hidden in the shadows. These pieces represent Bella's journey through the series, starting as the weakest player on the board and transforming into the strongest after she transitioned into a vampire. The chessboard also symbolizes the strategic battle between the Cullens and the Volturi, sparked by the birth of Bella and Edward's hybrid child, Renesmee. The reference to the cover is evident in Breaking Dawn, Part 1. During a scene from Bella and Edward's honeymoon, they play chess on a black and white board with red and white pieces, mirroring the imagery from the book. And that's it. Did you notice these details in the films? Share in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.